extremely touched by the affection that you have shown. I have said things, some of which may be harsh, but however bitter they may be, they are a perfect dose of medicine that I give you.
Sardar Vallabh Bhai Bhai Patel, the titan who integrated free India, formed along with Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru a unique threesome among the great architects and builders of our country. During his public life spanning more than 50 years, he lived, toiled, and gave his utmost to the country. Courageous and resourceful, determined and disciplined, dedicated and diligent, realistic to his fingertips, devoid of hypocrisy and utterly unselfish, he was the silent but extraordinarily efficient executive arm of Mahatma Gandhi and one of the stalwarts of the Gandhian Freedom Army in the war without violence for India's deliverance from foreign rule. Born into a lower middle-class family, Vallabh Bhai's childhood was spent away from books. He was already in his late teens when he passed out from middle school in Karamsad and went to high school in Nadiad, from where he matriculated at the age of 22. Having married Zavir Bai at the age of 18, Vallabh Bhai found it difficult to pursue his studies further and felt content with studying law to practice as a country lawyer. In 1902, he moved to the Kheda district, where he set up a somewhat lucrative practice. He wanted to go to England to qualify as a barrister, but had to give up the idea to enable his elder brother Vittal Bhai to finish his higher education in England. Meanwhile, in 1909, his wife Zavir Bai died, and Sardar left for England the next year to join the Middle Temple. He topped in Roman law and was called to the bar at the end of 2 years instead of the usual period of 3. On his return to India in 1913, the Sardar set up practice in Ahmedabad. However, with his deep sympathy for the oppressed, he found himself increasingly attracted to Mahatma Gandhi, who had by now caught the imagination of the country with his fearless campaign against the British tyranny. In 1917, Vallabh Bhai was elected to the Ahmedabad Municipal Committee, heading it later from 1924 to 1928. During these fateful 11 years, he not only came very close to the Mahatma, but was also in the forefront of almost all popular agitations in the region, especially those against the anti-Kisan laws of the British. In 1917, he was elected Secretary of the Gujarat Sabha, which was of great assistance to Gandhiji, and later conducted the Kheda Satyagraha to secure land revenue exemption since the crops had failed. The period between 1917 and 1922 was marked by various popular agitations in India. The First World War had ended, followed by the Rowlatt Act, and still further curtailment of individual freedom. The Khilafat movement followed shortly, and soon India was witness to massacres and terror in Punjab. Gandhiji and the Congress launched the non-cooperation movement, and Vallabh Bhai left practice for good and gave himself wholly to political and constructive work. Then came the Bardoli Satyagraha to protest against the government's decision to arbitrarily increase the land revenue in the area. A grim struggle followed which drew the attention of the whole country. The government finally yielded. It was the triumph not only of 80,000 peasants of Bardoli, but also of Vallabh Bhai, who was appropriately bestowed the title of Sardar.
It was a great experience for me when I saw Sardar leading the 80,000 Bardoli peasants into a grim struggle of limitless courage.
The Congress had by now declared its goal of Purn Swaraj, while the British government was doing everything under its control to stifle the voice of millions of Indians. The boycott of the Simon Commission was followed by the launching of the Salt Satyagraha by Mahatma Gandhi.
मृत्यु से हम कोई बचने वाले नहीं हैं। मर्द मस्तक उतार सकता है पर नाक नहीं दे सकता। नामर्द की मौत के बजाय बहादुर तथा अब्रुदार की मौत मरना सीखो। तमाम भारतवासियों को मैं बता देना चाहता हूं कि जिस किसी को भी अगर मौत का भय लगता हो तो वे तीर्थ यात्रा पर चले जाएं। साबरमती में बैठे हुए मुट्ठी भर हड्डियों वाले इंसान ने दुनिया की सर्वोच्च सल्तनत को झकझोर देने का बीड़ा उठाया है। हम सब उसके साथ खड़े रहें।
Sardar Patel was among the numerous Congress leaders to be put behind bars. He was released a short while later, only to be incarcerated again. In 1931, the Sardar presided over the 46th session of the International Congress, which was called upon to ratify the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. It was not an easy task, but the Sardar handled the situation adroitly. The pact was approved by the Congress unanimously. Civil disobedience was suspended, and the Congress agreed to participate in the Round Table Conference. As the conference failed, the British government unleashed a reign of terror and repression. Thousands were arrested. Sardar Patel was lodged with Gandhiji in Yerwada jail for 15 months from January 1932 to May 1933. He spent another year in the Nasik jail. Many more years in jail were to follow, but the Mahatma chose Sardar Patel to keep a close watch on the national developments. The characteristics of Sardar Patel's life were his sense of accommodation and utter realism. He was far removed from ambition and greed. When he died, he virtually left nothing. But he was an extremely strong-willed person and knew well the distinction between compromise and appeasement. During the Gandhi-Jinnah talks in Bombay in 1945, the more accommodative was Gandhiji and the more unreasonable, Jinnah. Exasperated but unwilling to enter into unpleasant and lengthy arguments, Sardar Patel sent a brief note to Gandhiji. "I would remind you of an old proverb," the note said, adding, "In matters of love, the party that loves less has the upper hand." The decade of the 40s was doubtless the most exacting one for the country. Sardar Patel was convinced that the road to freedom was full of obstacles and that the toiling Indians had no option but to undergo further sufferings on the way to that lofty goal. Came 1942 and the Congress launched the Quit India movement. The Sardar, as also other top leaders of the Congress, besides thousands of people, were jailed. Freedom came, but also brought in its wake untold misery in the form of communal holocaust. Sardar Patel, as Home Minister of Free India, left no stone unturned to restore order. With his deft handling of the situation, he truly emerged as the Iron Man.
Let us get on with the job in the hope that we will do it well, and the faith that despite the shock which the whole organization has received from the recent disturbances, we shall acquit ourselves creditably in one of the great rescue projects of history.
But the flashpoint in Sardar's career was the integration of the princely states into India, as he took over as the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Home and Information and Broadcasting in Free India.
लेकिन ये छोटे छोटे जो वाड़े हैं उससे बहुत नुकसान होता है, और जिस चीज से मुल्क को फायदा नहीं होता है, इस चीज से
But the relentless hard work of all these years had taken its toll, and the Sardar was now a sick man. Yet, unconcerned about his health, he went ahead with his national duties, never even complaining that his body was refusing to take the burden anymore. As a grateful nation bestows on him the honor of Bharat Ratna, Sardar Patel will continue to be remembered as a shining symbol of Nishkam Karam, selfless service, and his name shall ever remain inscribed on the roll call of honor in history as one of the greatest nation builders and statesmen of India through the ages, from the Vedic to the modern times. But more than that, the country will remember him as the finest example of a human being who put to practice what he preached, and as one who would not hesitate to sacrifice everything for the sake of the country. Jawaharlal Nehru, with his deep insight into history, told Parliament when the Sardar breathed his last. History will record his achievements in many pages and call him the builder and consolidator of New India, and say many other things about him. By many of us, he will be remembered as a great captain of our forces in the struggle for freedom, and as one who gave us sound advice both in times of trouble and in the moments of victory, a friend and a colleague and comrade, on whom one could invariably rely as a tower of strength, and who revived wavering hearts when we were in trouble. C. Rajagopalachari therefore aptly articulated that Sardar was to Gandhiji what Lakshman was to Ram. One of the former presidents of the Indian National Congress, Pattabhai Sitaramaiah, was of the view that if Gandhiji was Christ, Sardar was John the Baptist of nationalist India. And a very discerning foreign analyst writing on India's freedom struggle concluded that Gandhiji gave the Congress inspiration. Jawaharlal Nehru broadened its vision and imagination. Rajagopalachari sharpened its intellect and analytical faculty. Dr. Rajendra Prasad gave it purity, and Sarojini Naidu grace. But it was Sardar Patel who gave India efficiency and a sense of thoroughness and power. On the death of Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel, on the 15th of December 1950, Sri Vinoba Bhave, before a gathering of villagers at his ashram, said, "A towering personality of the eminence of King Janak has passed away from our midst. Amidst palatial glitter and royal pomp, he had lived a detached life of King Janak. Due to his presence in the government, the people felt that the ship of the country was safe in his hands. This, to a degree, epitomizes Sardar's character and also refers abstractly to those services of Sardar at the altar of our motherland that brought him perennial fame and glory." Sardar, to quote his own words, has bequeathed to us a real union of the Indian people built on the basic concept of the sovereignty of the people. It removes all barriers between the people of the states and the people of provinces and achieves for the first time the objective of a strong democratic India built on the true foundation of a cooperative enterprise on the part of the peoples of the provinces and the states alike.